I lost a bag of oats at my local Walmart the other day and was feeling the shame of it. You know, the shame of digging around in your garbage for food because you're running low on your already limited food money. Anyway, I went to the nearby baseball field to feed the ducks and saw someone that I used to know in my celibacy days. He started talking to me and he asked me how my celibacy was going. I told him I was tired of the celibacy and that I needed to lose the weight so I could get married again. He started asking me what I was looking for in a man. I told him I was looking for someone honest, decent, committed to life, good with kids, not the alcoholic, can take me fishing on occasion, and not the peeping Tom type. And then it happened. This old guy, who was no longer in his 30s, laid in on me with his words. You got a lock on those thighs, honey. I can tell you got a good old-fashioned rack on you. What you look for in a man. A guy who can get a hard on looking at those thighs. It happened so fast. I felt my face get hot, my hands started to sweat, and my legs started to weaken. Well, I stammered. It's all I could get out. I'm sure I was blushing and smiling the whole time. Well, when I'm through eating you, I'll know if your meat is good. He said, you'll know it when you eat it. Damn, man. You are straight as a board. Now, since I'm your last meal, I have to ask you to do something for me. I want you to do something for me for my last meal. I couldn't refuse him. So, while he ate his bologna and egg sandwich, I grabbed his hand and gave it a good squeeze, causing him to drop his last bite of sandwich and give me a, why you? Look. Okay. I won't tell anyone. I promise. I gave him my word. This guy did not take no for an answer. So, I went on a search for my trail shoes and started running. I ran for 3 hours straight, 42 minutes, and then we continued our conversation. When I arrived home, I got a snack. Then, I went on another 3-hour run. This time I ran for 5 hours. When I finally stopped running, I had run 100 miles. I had run to the furthest point north of San Jose. I felt like I had run to the hospital because I had diarrhea running down my shorts, from my ankles to my knees. My wife informed me that we were going out to dinner. She ordered me a turkey sandwich, 2 pieces of bread. I devoured the entire thing, and when she ordered another Big Mac. The man in his 40s started flirting again. I'll bet you'd like some more of my sandwiches, don't you, my dear? My, but you are a lean, muscular specimen of man. Just like a young stud in his prime. The man in his 40s hit on me, giving me compliments and telling me what a good runner I was. I ran to the other side of the field to escape his flattery. He walked up to me, put his hand on my shoulder, and then started rubbing it. I made more bologna sandwiches. I ate a whole package of bologna sandwiches. My wife left. As soon as I locked the door behind her, the guy made his move. He put his hand on my thigh, and leaned in close to my ear. How long are your toenails? Is it a fungal infection? I was so freaked out I threw up in the sink. I ran 3 more hours. Then I felt sick again. This guy followed me home. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. He followed me in the outhouse and started staring at me from behind the door. I ran to the field and threw up there too. I was crying. I tried to crawl home. I ran a total of 200 miles, in 42 minutes, of course. When I was on the brink of death, this guy continues to stroke my hair and ask me questions, telling me how fast I was, and how sexy I looked when I was in the final miles of my run. I figured, if I can just get home without dying, my husband and son will tell my wife that this guy is a real goon. But I was too late. I arrived home, and to my surprise, my wife was waiting for me. Darling, are you okay? What happened? I told her I ran 200 miles today, and that this guy followed me home, wanting to make out with me. She slapped my face, and my son walked into the house, and asked me if this guy was my new father. That last one was from my run in San Francisco. During that 5-hour run, I went through some strange neighborhoods. I finally got to San Francisco. The entire run, I was so beat, and my legs felt like they weighed tons. I started my run at my high school, and made a bong while taking one of the biggest diarrhea dumps that clogged the toilet at the school. Well, to make a long story short, I almost died after I crossed the finish line. I don't know how I did it, but somehow I got through that last run. For about an hour, I didn't know what hit me. The diarrhea that clogged the school's toilet almost killed me. I started to head home, and a car came barreling through a red light and hit me. I passed out, and when I came to, I was in the hospital with blood pouring out of my mouth. I don't remember anything after that, except waking up in the hospital bed with my mom hugging me. She tells me that I've been in a coma for 3 weeks, and that I had an internal hemorrhage. She took out a bong and we smoked weed in celebration of my recovery. Next, I woke up to this older guy asking me about the town where I lived. I recognized him as my friend's dad. He asked me if I wanted to smoke pot, and I said sure. I was still in pain, and so smoking a fat joint sounded great. I smoked that and went back to sleep. When I woke up again, I was at the same friend's house, and I was being babysat by my friend's older brother. We walked around a nearby park, where we shared links to some really strange websites. Then, we started to climb up this really tall hill. It was kind of scary at first, but we both figured out how to climb it and made it to the top. Then, my friend screamed in shock. "Hey, Kevin, what are you doing?" I turned around to see an old woman lying on the ground, bleeding out. "Sorry, Sarah," I shouted as I felt myself going into shock. I went into shock and went crazy. I got bit by a rabid skunk, and I had these strange deformed rodent tentacles coming out of my body, and I thought I was having a seizure. Luckily, that was just my friend's older brother getting help, so I ran back to the house. When I got there, my parents started freaking out when they found out what happened. They took me to the hospital, and I was on a lot of pills. I had to stop breathing for about 30 seconds. Later I found out that the lady I saw was a hallucination. I was actually going insane for no reason. I was on so many different drugs that I was crazy. After the hospital, I took my pills, and my parents gave me a video game console for Christmas. I don't remember what it was. I think they bought me bootleg Sims 2. I got really good at it, and I used to make up stories about me and my girlfriend having little kids, and being married. I don't remember all the stories I made up, but I do remember that everyone had huge butts, and everyone was fat, and the kids were super, duper cool. It was weird, but it was funny. The next day, I woke up, and my parents told me I could go home. I felt weird, because I hadn't done enough gaming. I wanted to game harder. So hard that I smashed a bowl of potatoes into my hand. I did it. I remember that. I didn't want the spoon to break, so I broke it myself. I saw the spoon, and the blood was dripping onto my bed. I don't remember how many times I ate the potatoes raw. I smashed the bowl of potato salad and my dad got super mad and grounded me for the rest of the month. That summer, my parents went on a vacation for the whole month, leaving me at my grandparents' house. They would come home every couple of days to make soup for my 40th birthday party. They came home, and I was really tired of everyone staring at me. I wanted to be left alone. Then, my grandparents came home and made a cake. I ate it. I felt sick. Then, it hit me. I looked in the mirror and saw this giant figure with huge deformed rodent tentacles. He had fur, and I saw fangs. He grabbed me and tried to eat me. I saw him rip my flesh apart. I screamed in terror and tried to get a fly swatter to kill him, but he ripped my arm off and then started to eat me. I woke up. I was laying down, and my brother was holding a soda can to my head. I didn't like it when he put it on my head. I told him I had a bad dream. He didn't care. So I told him my dream again, and he slammed the can on my head. I did not like that, so I pushed him away. I remember that part. "What are you doing here?" I said, jumping up, like an ostrich. "You're on my side, now." My enemy said, ignoring me. "I am way on your side," he said, walking past me. "Oh, well, you're on mine, then," I said, walking away, and tripping over my stupid pajamas. Porky rolled a fake cigar to make himself feel cool. "I'm the head of the school. The school's my side. We'll kill the school together," he said, grinning. "We'll have a great time," I said, before I punched him in the face. "Hey, what about my cool cigar? I'm Porky Minch, get it?" Porky replied, almost yelling. "Get over it," I replied, shoving him out of the way. "Who's going to clean up your mess?" "I'm going to," I said, watching him crawl off. I went and laid down, but I felt so sick. I was half awake and half asleep. I was awake because I needed to get up for school. I was half asleep because I was dreaming. I dreamt that I was walking around the woods.